Welcome back to another episode. Do the secrets of the night become bitter truth of the morning? Taehyung sat on the balcony of Jungkook's house overlooking the sprawling green backyard. It was the early afternoon and the midnight blue was beginning to hide away to the orange lights of the rising sun. Taehyung sat there, hugging his knees and staring in front of him. Nothing in particular, just staring. The image of last night running like a motion picture in his mind. Some clear, others blurred, some tender, some others hot, and every single one imprinted in his memories. Yesterday night, they hadn't even stepped onto the house when Taehyung felt Jungkook's lips pressing on his. Taehyung wanted to look around if anyone else was home. Jungkook's parents might. What about the bodyguards? They might have shadowed them even if they kept a distance. Where are they? Taehyung wanted to ask, but his senses worked only momentarily. Only till they was captured to the hot lips of the man in front of him. They started sadly teasing each other, taking in the taste and feel of one another until they couldn't hold him anymore. As Jungkook pulled him towards the bedroom, the kiss turned passionate. They more hot, their tongues literally were dancing. Taehyung could taste the red liquid on Jungkook's lips as they broke off the catch. Their breath. They fumbled with each other's dresses as they fell onto the bed. The milky body of Jungkook was in perfect contrast to the honey sunny skin of Taehyung. They explored each other's body first with eyes, then with lips, and finally with their thumbs. It was like they couldn't stop devouring each other. They didn't talk much, yet the sound they made revealed the pleasure they were experiencing. Taehyung felt a sudden giggle escape his mouth as Jungkook raced through his happy thrill, and then gone as he went lower. They held and marked, tasted and pressed, kissed and took turns in beginning each other and climaxed together. They stopped only when their bodies collapsed and the exhaustion their minds still denied to stop. As they lay in the silent embrace, Taehyung's head rising on Jungkook's chest, they could feel the soft kisses Jungkook planted on the top of his head. Taehyung responded by hugging Jungkook tighter, like he didn't want to let him go, like he didn't want to let the moment go ever. As the tiredness of the day catch up, they fall asleep, their clothless bodies hugged and their heart thumping in unison. The dream then took over, Taekook escorting them to the wonderland of sunshine, love and happiness, until a few hours later when Taehyung jolted from his sleep onto reality. He watches the slow rise and fall of the chest of the man next to him. Jungkook, his light snores and the slight partition of his lips, the crumbled hair, his warmth, his face, his body. Jungkook and Taehyung felt a sharp pang in his heart because even as his heart overflamed with love for this man, Taehyung knew there was only one way this would end in his heartbreak. Taehyung slowly tiptoed to the balcony and sat there on the cold floor, a tear. His body was sore, his soul sore, as Jungkook subtly put it. The distance and the difference between the two was a barrier too high for Taehyung to cross. The pink lotus in the backyard pond was looking eager and pressured as they waited for the sun's rays to kiss them to bloom. Taehyung could understand their emotions. He felt the same last night, nervous excitement as his heart was pumping with happiness and appreciation. At the same time, Taehyung looked at his son Jungkook, still soundly sleeping peacefully like a child. Taehyung had no idea what this night meant for Jungkook, but for him it was a treasure, and Taehyung was going to cherish it even if he only had a few hours left. Taehyung went back, slipped inside the blanket next to Jungkook this morning. The morning sun had slowly started creeping in through the lace curtains. Taehyung slowly took his phone and captured a selfie of them, him and Jungkook, them together. This was going to be his memory, the memory of the most beautiful night of Taehyung's life. Somehow, between hope and desire, Taehyung was off. A few hours later, they woke up to empty space next to him. Jungkook was gone. The passion of the night and had given way to the reality of the day. Jungkook drove like a machine through the winding road to his parents' farmhouse. Every time an image of last night flashed through his mind, Jungkook pressed the escalator even harder. He didn't want to think of it, of yesterday night, of Taehyung, of them together. He had gone last evening to find answers about Taehyung. Yet Jungkook woke up today morning with even more questions, not about Taehyung but about himself. Jungkook sat on the bed of his room trying to make sense of the immense chores crushing in his mind. His parents hadn't asked him any question when he knocked on the door. In the early hours of the morning, Jungkook had seen Hobie's car trailing him. Hobie might have already informed his parents Jungkook was driving there. He was thankful that they just let Jungkook be. He wanted to be alone to figure out the turmoil that was unfolding in his life. Where should Jungkook start? With the realization of what he felt for Taehyung, or he slept with a man? It wasn't that Jungkook was not aware of his sexuality. There was already a small voice that kept tugging in his corner of mind, but Jungkook has always hushed that voice, never let it speak, never even consider it, for in his circles it was much easier to put an act, easier to date women and play along with whatever rules his society has set than to challenge them, than to follow his heart, than to accept who Jungkook was, than to be true to himself. And so he took it all away, locked among the darkest secrets of his heart, never to be talked about, never to be thought of. The crushes, the fantasies, the longing Jungkook had made sure it reminded imagination of his heart, never to be executed, because Jungkook was scared that once he did, he wouldn't be able to go back to his fake self. Or maybe he just didn't meet anyone who made him want to take that step until Jungkook hit the bike on that fateful afternoon and found himself staring at the face that took his breath away, until the pull became so strong that Jungkook craved in until he couldn't control himself anymore, until he succumbed deep to his heart's desire. until he got up today morning and reality hit. Now what? Now what? His path from here now. Follow his heart or follow his mind, because right now both were pointing at in the diametrically opposite directions. Jungkook heard a soft knock on his door and his father walked in. How are you? Jungkook confused. Jungkook answered truthfully. If you are comfortable with me, tell me. Jungkook, I can at least be a good listener. If nothing else, I don't know, Appa. I'm not sure of anything anymore. What if I am not the person you think I am? Will you be disappointed, Appa? Jungkook, I had told you once about your uncle there, right? Mr. Jian started slowly sitting next to his son. Jungkook nodded soberly. Uncle Dae was his dad's brother who died in an accident when Jungkook was still a kid. He had always felt that Uncle Dae was an uncomfortable topic among his relatives. No one talked about him much. Well, he didn't die in an accident, as I have told you. He actually killed himself. Your grandfather was very strict with us. He pushes they to become. He was not. Of course, it was a different time too. There was things that were not easily accepted in our household, our circles, and when their marriage was forcefully placed with someone he didn't want to, they killed. He hangs himself. The day before his wedding, I was the one who found him hanging on the ceiling fan, lifeless. I have lived with the guilt ever since that. I never supported him as a big brother, never tried to understand him, and I promised myself that I would never repeat the mistake with you, no matter what path you choose, no matter who you decide to be. I will accept you wholeheartedly and give you all my support. I say this with utmost sincerity, Jungkook. You can follow your heart with courage, son. I will never be disappointed in you. Jungkook could feel his eyes welled up with tears. He hugged his dad and sobbed. He could also sense the baggage in his heart becoming lighter. Jungkook wiped his tears and asked, Papa, can I stay here for a week? Of course. I will call Youngie and tell him to make the needed arrangements. You don't worry about office now. Just concentrate on yourself. Yes, Mr. Jian was about to leave. He hesitantly turned around and asked, Jungkook, how is Taehyung? How did you? I don't know. I haven't talked to him. Shouldn't you? Yes, but not now. I need time to have some clarity on what is that I want. I am not in a proper headspace now. Anyways, I am traveling to Japan this Sunday to meet clients. It would be a good change of scenes for me to find some answers. Maybe after that I just need to be clear about myself before I talk to him. Before Jungkook found his love, he needed to discover his heart. Jungkook was feeling a peace calm, and as the plane touched down in Seoul, the last week had been exhausted mentally and physically, but he had finally got some sense of clarity. Jungkook had opened his heart to Yoongi, and the fact that his best friend and his parents were supportive gave him courage to face the truth about himself, courage to accept himself and maybe what he felt for Taehyung. The shadows of self-doubt were slowly retreating. His heart skipped a beat as his thoughts wandered to Taehyung. There was something different about what he felt for Taehyung, emotions he never experienced before, and it wasn't just the sense of attraction. Taehyung was the most kind, thoughtful person Jungkook had ever met. Taehyung was different. There was something so pure, so genuine about him, persisting pristine, just like a daisy. Jungkook has been pushing away the image of Taehyung and their night together, but it was an impossible to do. It was the first thing Jungkook thought of when he got up, and the last image he dreamed of before falling asleep. The scenes flashed by when Jungkook had his food, when he traveled, even when he sat in the meetings. It was as if the thoughts of Taehyung had consumed every second of his being. Jungkook did toy with his idea of messaging or call Taehyung, but then he decided it would be better to see Taehyung in person. He had to explain to Taehyung the confusion he felt over the last 2 weeks, and that was something he wanted to do, sitting in front of Taehyung, not on a phone. Maybe spending more time with Taehyung would be a start of new path for his heart and for Jungkook. Jungkook smiled unconsciously as he thought of Taehyung, and then together he switched his phone back on to hear the continuous strings of the multiple notifications. Yoongi and Hobie's phone were also getting alerts non-stop. They all looked at each other, the same thought passing through their minds: something was not right. Taehyung could feel his knees shaking as he made his way inside the Jian mansion. It was very different from the feeling he had 2 weeks ago when he first came here on the fateful night. He could feel his tears surging in embarrassment, in guilt, in frustration, but he took a deep breath to steady himself. He needed to stay strong to explain to Jungkook what happened. He was taken aback as he saw the whole platoon of the legal team, Jungkook's father and Yoongi in the room. They all stopped talking and staring at him as they entered, in hate, in anger, in suspicious. Taehyung bowed to Mr. Jian but was greeted by a stern look. He looked at Yoongi. Yoongi nodded at him and Taehyung nodded back. In that room of grim-looking face, it was a relief to see one face looking kindly at him. He stood there, his head down. Jungkook is inside. Taehyung, I think you should first talk to him in privately. After that, we will discuss what to do next. Taehyung nodded and followed Yoongi to where Jungkook was. His every step felt like it weighted a ton of tar had been breathing his movements since he was woken up by the loud bang at the door in the morning. Jimin and Yoon was there outside, both looking visibly upset. Jimin was on the verge of tears as he handed the morning newspaper off, pouring dispatch. Taehyung let out a wail and sank at the floor in despair as he opened the newspaper. On page 3 was a picture of him and Jungkook half naked on the bed, the selfie that he took when Jungkook was asleep. His precious memories split on the page of newspaper with the headline: "Exclusionary billionaire here engaged to a local activist," followed by the news: "Love is in the air for the Jian here." Sources close to Kim Taehyung have confirmed that a local activist is engaged to the CEO of Jian Industries, Jian Jungkook. The junior Jian was earlier engaged to Park Mia. The news of Jian Jungkook's engagement with the man has sent reports of shock in the business world. How this marriage would affect the future of Jian Empire remaining to be seen. We are still awaited a comment from the Jians who has neither confirmed nor denied the news. It was followed by the more speculation of Jungkook's sensual orientation, on Jungkook and Mia's breakup, on the company's share. Taehyung's mind couldn't register any of those, but everything went blur. But the picture of him and Jungkook there, the night, the moment Taehyung go in, Yoongi gently pulls him into Jungkook's office. Jungkook was standing behind the desk, the newspaper in his hand. Taehyung looked up, readying himself to face Jungkook's anger. However, it wasn't just anger that he saw there. Jungkook's eyes were filled with disappointment. And Taehyung, to be continued. Mommy, what do you think? Why this happened? Who leaked the picture of Taehyung and Jungkook? And how will Taehyung explain this all to Jungkook? Let's see in the next episode. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye bye.